Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Welcome back to ATI Auto Business. It is Tuesday night. We're live. We're going to learn more about Corpay. What is Corpay? And to help me tonight, I did a couple things. One is I've got the website pulled up. You've got the link in the live chat. You can go to corpay.com, corpay.com. And I also have with me tonight, I've got Crystal Arnold, Wes Kolari, and Greg Gillenwater. We're going to go to them in a second, but I just want to let you know, if you don't know what Corpay does, tonight's show we're going to learn the ways that Corpay helps you get paid to pay. What does that mean? We're going to learn about it. Corpay has commercial cards, AP automation, cross-border payments, fuel cards, workforce travel. They're going to be at NADA show. This is a global company. So, Crystal, let's start with you. Crystal, please say hello and tell us a little bit more about you.
Hello, everyone. We are so happy to be here, Jay. Crystal Arnold. I've been in the auto industry working with the auto industry at some capacity for over 20 years. It's exciting to be here. We care a lot about our auto dealer customers, and we're just wanting to share what we do and do this. So I'm so glad to be here. I can't wait. We've got some good stuff in store. So just wait.
Crystal, it's great to have you here. Wes, please say hello and tell us a little bit more about you.
Yeah, hey Jay, thank you for having us. My name's Wes Kolari. I've been with Corpay for about a year now. Prior to that, I had a lengthy history, about 14 years in the commercial banking space, and closely tied to payment programs and treasury programs and the such. I'm based in the Houston, Texas area, and excited to get into more details about our company and how we support our automotive customers.
Thanks, Wes. Appreciate you. And Greg, please say hello and tell us a little bit more about you.
Yes, my name is Greg Gillenwater. I've been with Corpay for a few years now. I've spent the better part of the decade in the payments industry, though, with both fintechs as well as some big banks. So a lot of knowledge around payments and everything that encapsulates that. I live in Wichita, Kansas, born and raised there, married with 3 kids. And I guess relevant to this, I'm a car guy. I'm just kind of a nerd for cars in general. So I spend most of my time talking payments with car dealers, but every once in a while we get to talk cars, which is good.
So the term just came up, fintech. Is Corpay fintech?
Yes, we are. Fintech, short for financial technology. But yes, a lot of people confuse us. Sometimes they think we're a bank. We are not a bank. We are a fintech.
Okay, so fintech, not a bank. All right, in a nutshell, who wants to take this? What is Corpay?
Well, Jay, we were gonna share 2 slides. We're not gonna PowerPoint people to death, but here, let me. I'm gonna send you a request to take over and share from our side, and then Greg's gonna tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, I'll jump in and kind of give the overview of Corpay in general. So, while Wes is pulling that up, I kind of like to use a generic term that Corpay is one of the biggest companies you may have never heard of. So if you've ever heard of Comdata or Invoice Pay, that's actually us. Over the years, we have purchased a number of companies, acquired them, and recently we rebranded ourselves into what is known as Corpay now. So yes, as we talked about, we are not a bank. We are a fintech company, but we are bank agnostic. So any of our dealers that have their primary banking, partnerships, we're agnostic to that. We will work with any sort of bank. Big differences though between us and a bank. When you look at a bank and all the kind of revenue they get it from, service charges, interest on loans, etc. Over here at Corpay, we only do payments. It is our bread and butter. 100% of our revenue comes from payments. And so as we look at some of these, figures here on the screen, that's really where we built up all this revenue. We are publicly traded, about 10,000 employees, over $4 billion in revenue annually. And when we look at the payments, where this really centers around from is we have what we call the Corpay network of vendors. And so this is an entire network across the United States, or globally for that matter, of about 4 million vendors. And so what we've done is we've gone out and we've sent payments to these vendors on behalf of our dealerships and other customers outside the automotive industry. And we understand for each of those individual vendors, what type of payment do they accept? Is it card? Is it check? Is it ACH? And so we really try to prioritize card payments for a variety of reasons, which we'll get into. But from there, we've dwindled that down to about 600,000 of those are vendors that accept electronic payments. And that's really where this entire industry and business is going here, is the more we can go to digital payments, the better. And so that's where one of our big focuses are, because narrowing that a little bit more, when you do those digital payments, you get cash back on all the virtual card payments. So 800 million in rebates annually to our customers. They love that. Our jobs become pretty easy because it turns into a conversation of, hey, how much money can we make you? How much revenue can we generate from things you're just doing every day right here? And then, of course, because of that, we do everything with MasterCard. Every type of card that we issue is with MasterCard. And we are MasterCard's #1 issuer in North America. So we're one of their biggest clients. Issue more than actually the next 4 big banks combined. So a lot of volume there, a lot of volume. But that's kind of the high level of just Corpay in itself. We service all industries. But Crystal, Wes, myself, along with 3 others, we are the automotive team. And so our focus is only on automotive dealerships. And we work with a lot of different DMS systems specific there with integrations. So we really spend all of our day-to-day understanding what types of issues dealers are facing with their payments and how we can work directly with their systems.
Wow. Okay, I took a couple notes, and I want to say, I stopped the screen share. Okay, that was really good. That was perfect. Rebates. So, life is full of incentives, right? What's in it for me? And there's nothing wrong with that. But you do get my attention when you talk about rebates. What are you talking about?
I could take this one again. This one you guys want to?
Yeah, I can chime in. When we talk about rebates in terms of our programs, Jay, it's like Greg mentioned. There's a big focus on taking existing processes and existing suppliers and vendors that these businesses and dealerships pay today, and turn those into revenue generating payments. And the easiest and best way to do that is from converting from more manual paper-based processes like checks over to more digital methods like ACH or virtual credit cards. And when we can put payments onto a virtual credit card, that's where there's dollars that get generated from those transactions that then can get passed back to our customers in the form of cash rebates that we pay on a monthly basis. So I don't know. Does that help answer that question?
People are already paying bills.
That's what I was going to say. We're all paying bills.
Why would you not want to turn something that you're already doing into a revenue generating process? Because that's essentially what we do, just like Wes and Greg said, is that we take a process, we become a part of that process, we streamline, we lower liability, lower risk, and really make the process more efficient. We digitize it. So, our customers are it's exciting to be able to support them, especially because growing your dealership is the #1, objective most of our customers have. They want to grow, they're acquiring new dealerships. And that kind of goes off of another note that when they acquire new dealerships, it's kind of all over the board when it comes to cards, because we also have we have a card program where you can earn cash as well. It's just finding a better way of doing your current process more efficiently through, with your invoices and also our card solution. So it's just really cool what we do, and we really support our customers to grow, essentially.
Right. So I'm going to break that down again, is that if you're just joining us, we're talking about Corpay. If you're already paying bills, and we're also, to note, we're kind of focused on automotive and the dealer space, and these are not small bills. And we're talking accounts payroll, it could be all kinds of bills, is that you're paying the bills already. So you're not only going to make that process better and faster, or however, whatever it is that you say that, however you do it, but you're getting cash back for paying the bills you're already paying.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
I can kind of break that down a little bit too, so you can understand kind of how that works. So basically, let's say a dealership has an entire list of payments that they're going to send out for that day. Basically, directly out of their ERP system, or excuse me, their DMS system, they'll be able to send that over to us, and we will have done our research on the front end for identifying all the different payment modalities that each of those vendors accepts. And so if they do not accept a card of any sort, we're going to send them a check, or maybe do an ACH if it's easier to set up that way. But we're really going to prioritize any virtual card payments to them as a MasterCard payment. And so when they accept that vendor, if they have an open policy to accept virtual card payment, they do incur what's called an interchange fee. And so a MasterCard interchange fee can vary depending on the merchant provider that vendor has set up with, but it's usually around 2.5%. And so what happens is, let's say you send a payment for $100 and it runs on a virtual card, they're going to be charged a 2.5% fee there. A portion of that goes to MasterCard. A portion of that goes to Corpay. That's where our revenue comes from. And then the majority of it comes right back to the dealership as cash back. So all of those payments they're sending out, the more and more that we can get to go onto a virtual card, that's the more and more every single month that cash back's going to add up just from making payments. Just like Crystal said, it's stuff you're already doing. So why not turn your accounts payable into a revenue generating department?
Yeah. And Jay, I'll build on top of that, kind of going back to Greg was talking about a lot of what we do. Some of the magic sauce for Corpay is in that deep, extensive vendor network that we maintain. And we have thousands of dealership and automotive customers. So we already understand how those other customers are paying their vendors, which ones they're paying by these different payment methods, and what's going to generate them the most cash back in the fastest way possible. So a lot of times I like to say that our solutions are low effort, but high value. And it's something where, I think more and more we're seeing that a lot of accounts payable teams are running very lean operations today. Some dealerships, maybe they're smaller groups, they might just have one individual that's handling all of these different payments, payment methods, payment programs, all this stuff. And so it's an opportunity for them to kind of consolidate to one provider that is well integrated with the DMS or the system platform that they work with today, and allow Corpay and our company and our teams to do a lot of the heavy lifting to get them onboarded and set up with one of these solutions in a very short amount of time, I'll add, and that means maybe, let's call it maybe 4 to 6 weeks in some cases, depending on different integrations that we have. And we touch on the integration piece a bit, but I would say that's a huge differentiator in my mind versus maybe some of thinking about some other relationships that I've had throughout my commercial banking career, where we didn't have integrations. So what did that look like? That involved much more complex and technical IT work to set up these files that had to be set up a certain way. A lot of these teams, like I said, whether it's AP or IT, they're already running very thin. And so with our integrations, the power there is that there is no IT work. We can just directly interface with the system of record on the dealer side and get set up and running and have them use the solution very simplistically. So anyways, I'll stop there.
No,
I'm getting
good
carried
points.
away.
Stop.
Yeah, that is good. And you're not wrong. I made a note of that. You're not wrong. Everybody's trying to run lean. And it's always been that way, but it seems like over time it just gets leaner and leaner and leaner. We got integrations, so you got a pretty powerful tool. One of the things that I did getting ready for tonight, and by the way, we're already halfway through this show.
Oh, wow. What?
Okay.
It's already been 15
Okay.
minutes. I know.
We haven't even got started yet.
And that's okay. We may run over, and that's great. I love that. Okay. I asked ChatGPT, because, I'm using it every day now, pretty much. I asked it, what are the top 3 concerns for dealers today, right now? And here we go. Okay. Shrinking profit margins and rising incentive costs. Can Corpay
Okay.
help with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When you look at shrinking profit margins, there can be a number of things that affect that, from, just their direct costs from their manufacturer, or, tariffs have always been a hot topic lately, especially this past year. And it has a lot of different effects on the parts that they order, where they come from. So really, when it comes down to it, these dealerships are looking for any potential area where they can improve their bottom line net income. And whether that you could look at a lot of different softwares out there, and you can maybe reduce some soft costs and gain some efficiencies, and that's exactly what we do. But where it really shines is that we actually provide hard cash back to them for this process as well, while also reducing those soft costs and streamlining the process. So it's usually music to a CFO's ear, when they hear that, we can add X amount of dollars based off, the file that they have. And so it's any of those ways, that's where we can absolutely help.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. Good. Number two, dealer concern in the market today: affordability and customer financing strain. Can Corpay help with that?
Affordability. I guess I'm wondering, like, what
Right.
part of
In
affordability?
It actually,
Yeah.
I mean, this is a pop. I always
Yeah.
throw a hot potato during a live
Oh,
show
love
because it's
it.
fun. But
That's
affordability
good.
gets. We may just put a bookmark in this for the moment. But affordability is tossed around so much. And one of the things I was thinking when I did this was, I know you're going to be at NADA, and these are
Yep.
common buzzwords, and maybe that gives you something to think about. So in case somebody says, I'm worried about affordability, they're standing at your booth, and we're going to talk
Yeah.
about where your booth is, by the way. Well, it gives you an opportunity to think about, gosh, how do we address affordability? Let's go to number 3, and then I want to know
Wait, Jay,
where
I
your
want to
booth is.
mention, I
go
want
ahead.
to just comment on the affordability
Yeah.
piece that I think could tie into that. With Corpay, the big value, and we didn't talk about fraud. Okay. We didn't even go into that. We could have a number 2 show with you, because there's so much that we do for our customers. I mean, all of our team, we support the auto industry. So all we do, this is our world every single day. And we work with all the auto dealer customers. And so we hear the things. And one of the things I think that would affect affordability is that we limit the fraud. Because whenever you process a payment and you click Corpay, we take over from there. So we take that, and so that, fraud is a big deal. It's getting worse. We could maybe do another show and have some of our experts from that division, support and come on. But it is a number 1 concern for a lot of companies, because if you're having to deal with fraud issues, the affordability piece, you're sure not going to be able to do discounts, and all of these things that a dealership could be able to do to support their customers.
Well,
it limits those things.
I was just thinking, because dealer incentives are on the down, maybe the fact that you can get some cash rebates from some of your other automations can help you re-incentivize the vehicle for the customer, the car buyer. Maybe.
I mean,
right?
you could get creative, but
I was just gonna say, creative.
and it's paid monthly, so you can get cash in an account. It could be whatever account the dealer wants to have that deposited into. Then, or you could get it on you could have a credit on your invoice or whatever, or you can even do a card. You can have it come back to a card. We've seen some of our customers do holiday parties. They've upped that gift for their holiday parties. We've seen, I think, Greg, you were talking about how one of your customers sent their employees on a vacation. So there's all kinds of really cool things you can do to, get your teams excited about the business and just, it's exciting. So yeah, I think we can use that in a lot of ways.
It's kind of, every dealer is going to look at it a little bit different. Some are going to be like, okay, well, this improved the bottom line by X amount. Some are going to think of it in terms of, okay, well, I have effectively paid for a couple of my employees' salaries for the year. And others are going to think about it in terms of, hey, this is an unexpected lump sum of, funds that we received this year. How can we incentivize our employees or do something fun with it? That's the great thing. There's no necessarily right or wrong way to utilize the funds that you get cash back.
And it puts you back in the driver's seat of some of that revenue because you're getting some back. Again, rebate, number one word here. Okay, problem number 3. And I think this one you got. Inventory and floor plan financing risk.
I would say not so much.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's kind of
You got
outside
it.
of our
Is
area.
it?
That'd be more of a traditional bank would be providing like floor plan financing.
But you help
and stuff
mitigate
like that,
risk,
but-
right? Is that right?
So
Absolutely.
when we talk about risk, we really refer to risk of fraud in the AP department specifically. So, for example, if somebody was to intercept a check that went out and it had all your bank account information on it, when we send the check out, it's coming from an FBO account, a for benefit of account that is tied to the dealership's bank account, but doesn't have their information on it. So their bank information is never sent out to any of the customers. So it's a layer of insulation protected from fraud. But also, if there's an issue with check washing or anything of that nature, those are things that we will deal with in certain capacities that the dealership won't have to deal with. So when we talk about fraud, it's really fraud, anything related to payments. Anything customer financing, things of that nature. I guess we could be more adjacent to that. The traditional bank will offer customer financing options or lot financing options.
All right, so what we just also learned is that when given tough questions, you guys just stay calm and, take it head on. But here's
You did not warn us, Jay.
I
but
know
that's
I didn't, but here's some easy
we
ones.
love a challenge.
I know.
We love
Well,
a challenge.
and like I said, we're live. We're real people, and we're really talking. We're learning about your company, but we're also learning about each other and what it's like to just actually talk. So here's a couple easy ones. All right, I asked ChatGPT, give me top 3 NADA dealer questions that they might have for Corpay. And here's number 1. How does Corpay actually save me money compared to what I'm doing now?
Who wants to take it? That's a great one. Can I take
Great.
it?
Go for it. Yeah,
Well,
take us
I
away,
will-
Crystal.
Okay, so compared to what you're doing now, you're already paying the invoices. You're paying, the value in our partnership. And it's so cool because, whenever you adopt a new program, everyone is, it takes so much time. There's just so much work that goes into it. Look, if you're paying this company, I guarantee you so many other dealers are. So it cuts the work down. So you go in and you have your process, you streamline your process, and you get paid for it. So it's just easy, So does that answer the question? I get so excited. We love what we do, Jay.
Well, you get a ding. Yeah, you get a point.
Yes.
Does anybody else want to score any points here?
Yeah. I want to extrapolate on top of that a little bit because we talk about our programs handling all the payment methods, essentially outsourcing AP to Corpay for handling. We talked about rebates and card payments, but I think what we didn't really touch too much on is there's always going to be still a significant portion of accounts payable or payments that are happening, bills that are being paid, that where the vendors aren't going to accept or suppliers aren't going to accept card, and so that's always a question mark of, well, what do we do with those? Well, we have our other payment methods like check and ACH, and Corpay can still handle those. And so in those instances, Jay, the great thing is that it is still going to provide a great cost reduction to our customers because we'll do those checks and those ACHs at under $1. So under $1 per check. I think postage right now on a check, if you try to do that in-house, is at least 75 cents just for postage. And we'll do the whole thing, send it out the door for 98 cents. So there's been a lot of check studies done, a lot of banks do them, a lot of customers do them. You come up with amounts anywhere between $3 a check, $5 a check, $10 a check, depending on how much cost is going into the time that those individuals in AP are actually taking to get that check out the door. But that is kind of the additional, that's where my mind goes, at least when I think of what are the additional transaction cost savings and time savings associated with programs like this versus just doing it how you're doing it today, which, like we were talking about, a lot of folks are still printing a lot of checks in-house and spending the time to stuff those in envelopes, sign them, put postage on them, and send them out the door, right?
Cost and time.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what dealers ask at NADA. You answered it beautifully, Wes, but how can you help me reduce the amount of checks I got going out the door?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to send less checks, and
Right.
yeah.
Very good. Cost and time and less, right? Yeah, less checks. Okay, number 2, NADA dealer question for Corpay. How much control do I get over who can spend where and on what? How do I control? So, right, you do need to, right, there's always somebody in a company that's like, man, I really need to control what people are able to do. And, you know, if you're a big company, how do you do that? How can Corpay help with this problem, this concern?
Yeah, so I would say, Jay, that the short answer is the customers that work with us get full control over that approval process, is what I would call it, or approval workflow. And a lot of times it's just whatever that approval process looks like today. Maybe it's a more manual or paper-based process, like we were talking about checks. If people are writing checks, usually they have check signers. A lot of it is just digitizing that process through our workflows. So keeping the process that the customer understands today, but putting it into a digital format where those signers or approvers can digitally go on, see what they need to approve online, and then sign off on those and basically submit those payments for execution to keep them moving through the payments chain. And so we can create a whole bunch of permissions, user roles and permissions, to best manage, you know, who can do what. You know, you got viewers, they can only view things. You got submitters that can just submit things. You got approvers that can just approve things, or you've got full-on admins that can kind of do everything, right? This even comes in to be impactful when someone may be going through like an audit or year-end review. They can give folks outside external access if they want to, that can just view certain records within the system to kind of go through those end-of-year processes or whatever they need to accomplish. So short story is there's a lot of different permissions and roles and stuff that we can set up, but we really put that in the customer's hands to say, hey, this is how we do it today. Let's set up a more digitized process or digital process to mimic that, and they have full control over it.
And it doesn't necessarily just stop with the full AP portion of it. Obviously, plastic cards are still widely used for, you know, travel and expense and for fuel cards. And you have all of those same controls. You can have spending limits, temporary credit limits. You can even restrict some of these cards down to where they can only use it for gas and they can't go inside and, you know, buy a hot dog, you know, or something like that. You know, we want to make sure they're only spending on gas, whatever it needs to be.
Simple version, but yeah, roles and permissions. You got me there. Those are some good words right there, because in any robust software where you've got people coming in and out, like it's a store, there has to be roles and permissions, especially when you're dealing with expense accounts or other financial instruments. Yeah, really good answer. I really like roles and permissions. Ding. Okay, that's a point. Okay, so NADA dealer question for Corpay number 3. How hard is this to implement and integrate with my current DMS and accounting?
I'll kind of touch on that. We can all touch on that because this is a great question. So we'll be prepared to share that. Also have some further conversations at NADA with our customers and potential new customers. You know, so with that being said, Jay, so how hard is it to implement the program? The great news is we work with all DMS systems. We have strategic partners with some of them. We're always gaining new partners, and so that's exciting. Always a new year, new exciting things happening. But with, you know, some of our preferred partners, we have the systems already created. I know that that's growing, and we're gaining additional partners, and so it'll be exciting. There may be a big announcement, Jay, at NADA, so I can't share that right now, but we're excited about it. So it's very, you know, it's not a very difficult process. You know, say you're not a preferred partner, we can still go. You're still going through the process. You're still paying the invoices, and there's a back end way that we do that. So it's not a very difficult process. I think the best thing to do is if any of your audience is watching and they want to learn more, we'd love just to have a quick call to talk and see if this is something they want to explore. We're here to support, and work through anything. But I want to stop because I know the team probably wants to add some little ideas with that.
As far as implementation process goes, a typical timeline is 6 to 8 weeks. And, we have a quick 15-minute touch point call weekly just to keep you updated where we're at. Every DMS is a little bit different, and we have a certain level of integration with each. Those premier partners that we're have partnered with, we might have like a custom API integration that is really simple to turn on and just works flowing the information back and forth very easily. So those are easy to get run through and set up, and then it just becomes having our team go through your vendor list and start setting up those payment types for each of the vendors on the list, so that when you do go live, we can go live seamlessly, and when you dump a pay file over to us, we're ready to go and submitting payments to them, and that we have truly maximized the value of each of those payments in order to get the most cash back.
But yeah, I do want to say one more thing though, Jay. A good point to make though is that we're talking AP automation being like a 2-month process. Say, we've got some of our customers that, acquire new dealers. They want to put a card program in place to have, visibility throughout all of the locations. That's literally a few weeks. I mean, that's outside of the AP automation piece. And so what we find is that some of our customers join, recently a customer joined, and with AP automation we rolled out, and they're like, okay, when are we doing the cards? Okay, so now we're going to work on that, but we can do it together. We can do it separately. If this is, whatever our customers want, we work at their pace. But the card program is kind of works a little bit the same with the cash back. But it's much quicker. So it's not doing all the mapping and all the things with this system. So I just wanted to mention that.
Fantastic. All right, so we're just over the 30-minute mark, past the hour. And so here's what I'm going to do. Because I think we've said quite a bit, we've learned a lot, but we also want to make sure you go to NADA and go to the booth. So where's the booth? All right, here we go. Let's take a look at this. We've got a map. This is the slide 1. Okay, here, what is this slide about?
We kind of talked through it, a lot of this was just kind of recapping our support for our automotive customers. So we almost have 2,000 dealership groups that we support, and a lot more dealership locations than that, right? And then this kind of talks on the left-hand side about our different DMS partnerships, Jay. So I was going to add on, if people were curious, who are we strategically partnered with? CDK and Techion on the automotive side are probably the biggest partnerships there, right? Followed by we've got DealerTrack now, and then as Crystal alluded to, there's some additional new ones in the pipeline coming this year, so stay tuned for that. But that's all I'll say there. We can keep rolling.
I appreciate that. Okay, great. And then you've got who's going to be at the show, and you got a QR code. Tell me more about this, please.
So first of all, I want to share, come by our booth. We have some really cool giveaways. We're doing some fun things, and we have such a great group. And also, come meet us and talk with us. We have some other events that we'd love to maybe invite you to if you want to come get to know us and what we're doing. But I'm going to let Wes, I'll let you talk about where we are.
Okay.
There.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, come on and visit us. Me, Crystal, Greg, as you saw in the previous slide, we're all gonna be at the booth. We're gonna be there, so come hang out, just say hi. It would be great to meet you and have a little bit more conversation. Doesn't even have to be about payments, but like Greg mentioned, he'll talk your ear off about cars.
I would love to.
But yeah, so we're going to be at booth number 3913W. W is for the West Hall. There's a West Hall and a North Hall. And so this map is showing where we are in the West Hall. And we're kind of like right there in the middle, right by the entrances. And a good reference point is we're going to be right next to CDK. So that's going to be a pretty big booth, and we're right next to them. And, like I said, we've got a good partnership and integration with them, so it kind of makes sense. But that's where we're going to be, and hopefully that map helps kind of give a better representation of that, since it is going to be a big event space.
There's a middle entrance on the south side of the hall, And you guys did a great job on this map. And CDK, that's a big booth. You can't miss it.
It's a big thing, Jay. That's our #1 partner as far as integrations.
I
You don't
was-
even have to leave the CDK system. AP Assist is a little button at the top. You don't even have to leave the system to process Corpay payments, and you're making money. So it's just getting your cash back. It's just crazy. It's so easy. So yeah, it's right there. But we'd love to tell you about it, or just come hang out. We're really fun. We have a fun group, and we're great. We have a lot of fun together. So
Yeah.
You guys are fun. So what's the QR code do?
Yeah, the QR, that routes to actually our manager who is featured there on the slide. Her name is Brittany Newcomer. But we thought it would be best, if folks have interest, to talk with our team. We all share or split up the United States into different territory groups, but to just make it easy on everybody, if you scan the QR code, it goes to Brittany, and then we can kind of just intake that interest through her, and then she'll break it out accordingly on which team representative of ours would handle that based on the territory. So just the easiest thing to do if there's interest or we want to talk more about what this could look like at your dealership would be scan the QR code, just put 30 minutes on. It doesn't even have to be that long with Brittany, and we'll just route it to the right person and get in touch with you and have some further conversation. So just trying to make it super easy.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
We talked quite a bit about, we focused on dealers. I want to say this. There's other industries that Corpay serves. Is that right? I mean, this is a big company.
Yeah, any industry that you can think of, any company that makes payments, which is pretty much any company, we support them, right? And we also have integrations that go beyond just the automotive space. So we just covered a small amount of those strategic partnerships, but we can pretty much make the solution or the solutions that we offer for payments, we can make those work with any system that a customer works with on their side.
Right.
Yeah.
And also, Jay, we didn't have that on there, but we also we work very closely with the trucking industry too. And I know ATI, you do a lot with trucking, but we have integrations with preferred integrations with some of those partners. Carmack, Proceed, and all of that we support. And so that's a whole nother a piece of this. So wanted to mention that.
And I thank you for that, because we had talked about we focused on dealers. We pretty much have talked about dealers when we've talked. But, the auto transport broker business, I don't even know how many transactions they process or the amount of the revenue that is processed or the types of payments that are processed, etc. So I think there is a lot there. Maybe at NADA, you'll get a chance. I know there's some large brokerages at NADA. Maybe you'll get the chance to talk to some. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm very familiar. What are the other reasons I wanted to mention the size of your company? Global company that does a lot and has for, I'm assuming, for quite some time. And you mentioned Comdata. And that is that if you're a franchise dealer and you're thinking there's got to be a better way to do our automations, and you're considering talking to a company, you want to make sure that they have the wherewithal to assist you. And Corpay has that. Corpay has a a strong muscle, right? Like this is not a small company. Because if you're gonna if you're gonna go through changing the course of the battleship of cost and time, employees and payments, this is pretty important stuff. But Corpay is a company you can trust with that. That's why you have partners like CDK.
Absolutely.
I like to think of it as, when you look at big banks that offer forms of payment solutions like this, a lot of times it could be tied to, we can offer some type of introductory rebate or something or product if it's also tied with us having business checking or something. Or there's, on the opposite end, there's some smaller fintech companies out there that, are, just trying to buy as much business as they can to stay alive. We're kind of right there in the middle. We are a fintech company, but we're a very large one, and everything we do, again, is focused on payments, so we're very capable to handle anything.
Capable. That is the good word. There you go. Ding. You just got the point.
Yeah, I think this is also impactful for, because a lot of folks will ask, well, is there a certain size of dealer group or customer size this is impactful for? And I think just the size of and expertise and history of Corpay, it allows us to be effective and highly capable to change processes and make great positive change for our customers, whether they're a smaller mom and pop in the dealer world, a single dealership, all the way up to a 50 or 100 location dealer group, so we can handle the full spectrum and have really positive impacts on both sides of that spectrum.
Scalable, Jay.
Very scalable.
Scalable. Ding. Another point.
2 points. I got 2 points.
Got 2 points. All right. It took a little bit of time to get to the point where we did this live show, but I'm so excited we did. I think the timing is great, and I think it really came together. And Crystal gets another point for making that happen.
Oh.
So thank you.
Yeah, this is my second time on your show. It's been a pleasure.
You're 2 for 2.
So much fun, Jay. We always love, and I'd love to do a follow-up. Maybe we can figure out some topics to discuss whatever our auto customers want to know more about. We've got a lot of experts in our company, and we want to use those.
So what you can do is, as you're walking around NADA, pick up a notepad from another vendor, right, from another booth, and make notes of future shows with Jay. I encourage everybody to do this.
I love it. Yeah, we'd be more than willing to help you out, and yeah, I mean, me and Greg got introduced to you through the relationship you have with Crystal, and feel very grateful for it. So thank you for having us on today, Jay. I really appreciate it. It's been great.
It was really nice meeting you all. So, all right, well, let's end it there. 40 plus minutes. That's a good show. So there's still time on the clock. Thank you, Crystal, Wes, Greg. Thank you so much. Thank you, Corpay. Shout out to Brittany and crew.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for taking the time to spend with ATI. And also have a great show at NADA. And we'll just end the show there. We'll just wave goodbye. Okay?
Awesome. Good. Thanks, Jay.
Thank you all so much.
Have a great show.
We'll talk soon. All right, see ya.
All right.
Thanks.
All right.
Okay, bye.
See ya.
All right. I ended the show. And now it's just me doing voiceover. So here we go. Here comes the end of the show. Thanks, everybody. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.